There was a moment in my life when I looked in the mirror and I didn't recognize the person staring back. Tired, unfocused, drowning in distractions. I was stuck, and I was searching for a way out. Not a shortcut, not a quick fix, but real change. That's when I decided I needed rules, not restrictions, but guiding principles to pull myself from average to unstoppable. These are the 5 rules that changed my life forever, and if you commit to them, they'll change yours too. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your systems. And the first system, your morning. For most of my life, I started my day like a slave to chaos, checking my phone, snoozing the alarm, rushing into stress. But the most successful people I studied had one thing in common. They won the morning before the world could distract them. I started waking up at 5 a.m., not because I wanted to suffer, but because I needed a sacred space, a time where my mind was sharp, the world was quiet, and I was in control. I built a ritual. No phone for the first hour, ice-cold shower, 10 minutes of journaling, 20 minutes of reading, and a powerful affirmation. Today, I move with purpose. I act with clarity. Was it easy? Number. But it rewired my brain. It wasn't just about discipline, it was about self-respect. The way you start your day is the way you live your life. Clarity is rare, distraction is everywhere. I realized I was addicted to information but starving for direction. I needed to stop consuming and start creating. I deleted 90% of the apps on my phone. I turned off notifications. I started using time blocking. But more importantly, I started asking myself one question every morning. What is the one thing that will move my life forward today? Not 10 things, just one. That one question gave me more progress in 30 days than I made in the previous 6 months. When you remove the noise, you finally hear your purpose whispering back. Most people break the promises they make to themselves more than they'd ever dare to break a promise to someone else. You say you'll go to the gym, you say you'll wake up early, you say you'll start that project, but when no one's watching, you quit. I did too, for years, until I understood this truth. Self-confidence is built by keeping promises to yourself. Every time you say, "I'll do it," and you don't, your subconscious starts labeling you a liar, and it becomes harder and harder to believe in yourself. So I made a new rule. If I say it, I do it. No matter how small, no matter how inconvenient. I stopped setting goals I couldn't commit to, and I started building identity-based habits. I'm not trying to write, I'm a writer. I'm not trying to work out, I'm an athlete. Now, when I commit to something my brain knows, this is real, not negotiable, not optional. That's when I started to win. We live in a world that glorifies comfort. But the people who rise, the ones we admire, they do something most people won't. They say no to average. I had to cut out distractions disguised as comfort. Binge watching shows every night. Hanging out with people who drained my energy. Saying yes to every request to avoid guilt, I realized that if my life was full of just okay, there'd be no room for extraordinary. So I created a filter. If it doesn't align with my vision, it's a no. That meant sacrificing weekends to build skills. That meant being misunderstood. That meant solitude. But slowly, I became someone I respected, someone I believed in. That's the hidden reward of saying no. You start building a life that actually feels like yours. These rules were reshaping everything. My focus, my results, my mindset. But something was still missing, a rule that tied it all together, a mindset shift that unlocked all the others. It came to me during one of the hardest seasons of my life, and it's the most powerful one of all. Here's a hard truth most people avoid. Change doesn't happen when you reach your goals. It happens when you start acting like you've already reached them. Let me explain. You don't become disciplined and then you become successful. You act like a disciplined person first, and success follows. You don't wait to be confident. You move like someone who is. You speak like someone who is. You decide with conviction that the version of you you're chasing already exists. And then the world starts catching up. This rule changed everything for me. It's the mindset of identity-based living. Instead of trying to hustle your way to confidence or grind endlessly to become someone you admire, you shortcut the whole game. You ask one question: what would the person I want to become do in this situation? Then you do exactly that. Let's say you want to be a millionaire entrepreneur. Ask yourself, how would a millionaire schedule their day? What kind of people would they talk to? What content would they consume? How would they react to failure or distractions? And then, do that. You'll start noticing something wild. Your reality bends around this new identity. It begins with tiny moments saying no to one distraction, waking up 30 minutes earlier, making one uncomfortable call. But those moments compound. They shape your habits, which shape your results, which shape your future. There's a reason most people stay stuck. They're waiting for external permission to act like the person they dream of becoming. But no one's handing out that permission slip. You have to self-issue it. The moment you decide that you're no longer the person who procrastinates, who settles, who plays small, that moment becomes your rebirth. It's no longer about fake it till you make it. It's about embodying it until you become it. And trust me, once you start showing up with that energy, people feel it. Opportunities find you. You begin attracting the things you used to chase. Let's zoom out for a second. You now have 1. Clarity of purpose, the North Star that guides every decision. 2. Non-negotiable discipline, the structure that holds when motivation fails. 3. Systems for success, habits that eliminate guesswork. 4. The power of subtraction, removing what holds you back. 5. An identity-driven life, acting like the future you now. These 5 rules aren't just concepts, they're tools. They're the blueprint that took me from lost and stuck to focused, fulfilled, and building a life that finally feels mine. And here's the best part. If I can do it, you can too. If this video sparked something in you, don't let that fire fade. Take a screenshot of this video. Write down the one rule that hit you hardest. Post it on your story or share it with a friend. Let people know your transformation has begun. And if you want more content like this, subscribe, hit that like button, comment the word rewired, so I know you're serious. You're not watching this by accident. You're here because it's time to change. Let's build the new you together. This is Elevate Your Mindset. Let's rise.